Hello everyone. So I'm back and this is going to be my last video for my project obviously. So far just to recap, I've talked about how Latinos are discriminated in the wage gap in California. I talked about how the stereotypes of Latinos in California have caused hate groups to discriminate and commit hate crimes against Latinos, and I've given out statistics from LA Weekly saying that hate crimes have increased in LA County towards Latinos. I had a personal account with a Latino man that happened to be my father that talked about an incident when he was at fault. I mean, when he experienced discrimination, and he's Latino as well, and he talked about like how he feels that like some Latinos get they get discriminated in some situations in this state. And now, lastly, I want to give my personal accounts and my beliefs towards the Latinos being discriminated in this state, and I'll give a little bit of statistics. But to start off, I do believe that Latinos are being discriminated in California, and I'm very passionate about this because I am Latino myself, and even though I may not look like it, I do speak fluent Spanish, and a lot of my family lives in Mexico, and my nanny is Guatemalan. And speaking about my nanny, she came over here from Guatemala, and she's a very great person. But one time I can remember when I saw her, and we went to the store, and I was in the back of the store. I needed to go to the restroom, and she was trying to buy something. I forget what she was buying, but I saw the price on it, and the price was about $2. It was $2, and the man, she didn't, he spoke full English, and my nanny at the time didn't speak English at all. She only spoke fluent Spanish. So the guy was trying to charge her $6 instead of two for something that was only worth $2, and that's just discrimination, all because she didn't know the language. She didn't understand at the time that what the $2 meant. And just seeing firsthand, like just because she didn't know the language, that they were trying to take advantage of her. And at the end, I intervened, and the guy just said it was $2. But for him to try to like mark up the price on an item that was just $2 just because she didn't know the language, I think that's a problem that Latinos have because some people they don't know the language for whatever reason, and that's okay. But people want to take advantage and they want to discriminate them by getting more money out of them because of the disadvantage that they have of not knowing the language, and it's not their fault. And I just think that was like one very big incident. Um, just other incidents as well. It's just like I've had people make fun of my nanny just because she can't speak English. And that's something that's like I see that a lot with Latinos. Like they make fun of Latinos and like the media, especially in like California. Like we have Hollywood and all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of times when like there's a lot of satirical things that make fun of Latinos, and just because they cannot speak English or they have an accent, and that's something that I see a lot in California because we have such a big Latino population. So I just to wrap up, I just do believe that there is discrimination of Latinos in California, and although we have laws, like I talked about the Equal Pay Act, and I talked about like the hate crime laws that extend sentences, like there's still discrimination, and we there's a lot of stuff that we really need to clean up. You know, for like statistics, like Latinos still make up a huge percentage of the poverty in California. Um, you know, a lot of Latinos, almost 20%, don't have health care in California. And you know, these stats are it's eye-opening. I mean, we need to realize it. There was a stat that I saw, and it wasn't in California yet, but it was in the US. And basically what it was saying was that Latinos, they like 50% of them in this country, or like a little bit lower than 50%, but a little lower than 50%, they feel discriminated. And that's something that's not just coming from me, but it's coming from a whole group of people. And although I couldn't find that study in California, I don't have that study in California, but it goes to show that like Latinos are being discriminated and they feel discriminated in this country. And I think that California is a liberal state and it does so much to protect people's rights and to like stop discrimination, but yet we are one of the most progressive states, but at the same time, we still have people being discriminated, we still have Latinos being discriminated against, and we need to clean it up. Like we really need to reform our law system. We really need to like when we enforce these, we need to enforce these hate crime laws, and we need to really go after these people that are discriminating against them. So I think that it's just very important. And for a little less than 50% of Latino population to say that they feel discriminated is awful, and no one should feel discriminated, whether it's Latino, which is what I'm arguing for in California, but just any person in general based on their race, sexuality, they should not feel discriminated at all, and I think that is terrible. But it is just astonishing to see that Latinos make less than whites in this state. It is astonishing to see that Latinos they are they have the most hate crimes committed against them in this state. And that has increased over the past year. I've talked to you about an account of my father. I've told you about how the stereotypes and the hate groups, how the hate groups have increased in California, and now I'm giving my personal account, which is the last account. I've done a survey as well, asking what the two main stereotypes of Latinos were, and it came up to not to crooks, to criminals, and to gang members, and just sharing my personal accounts and like telling you the stats about the poverty and how Latinos like 20% of them are in poverty, and how under 50% of them in the U.S., not California, but in the U.S., they feel discriminated. And California has one of the largest Latino populations, if not the largest. So it's just very interesting to see. And I hope you've learned something. And I'm going to post a little bit more statistics just to help out. But I really hope that you learned something and you realize that Latinos are being discriminated in California. And thank you.